The third person we honor this year is Dr. Jasmine Jacob, born in very humble circumstances in Sri Lanka. She attended Spicer College, Andrews University, and finally Michigan State for her doctorate to further her teaching career. But life in America did not meet her expectations, especially for her children.
We came here in 1964, and I felt that my children were getting too fussy about everything. My son wouldn't wear a shirt if it didn't have a crocodile on it, and I remember my daughter not wanting to eat some vegetables because it was a bit wilted or something, lettuce especially. And I felt that they needed to see their roots, where they came from.
In 1972, Dr. Jacob offered her summer services to the Southern Asian Division at no charge. She and her husband conducted 9 workshops, the last at Spicer College.
I did the first session of the workshop, and about 10 o'clock I came back to stay with the kids while my husband went to do the second session. And while I was there, a little boy about 10, 12 came to sweep the guest room. Being a teacher, I don't like to see children out of school at that hour. Even here I may stop and talk to a child, and one day my husband says, somebody's going to shoot you if you do that. Because I chase kids. I say, why are you out of school? You should be in school. If you're sick, you should be in bed, not riding a bicycle out here. So when I asked him, tears ran down his eyes, and he said, I have no mommy or daddy to send me to school. Then I felt like a fool. I forgot I was in India. In America, every child has to be in school. But over there, if you can afford to go to school, you afford to go to school. So then we talked to the lady who had sent that kid to sweep the guest room. And she said that she found this kid sleeping on a doorstep on a rainy night. He had come for shelter. And when she got up, he was still asleep. So she talked to him and found out that his parents were dead. And so she gave him some food and put him to work like a good Adventist. We believe in work. And so we said, okay, we will pay for that child to go to school. So we paid his school fees, bought his books, uniforms. And the thought came to us, if every Adventist in America would sponsor one child, help one child go to school, you're not only feeding that child, but you're also educating for the future so he can feed himself. And you're also giving him the opportunity of salvation. And that is, I would say, the beginning of how this idea came to our minds.
For 30 years, Dr. Jacob has led REACH, an acronym for Render Effective Aid to Children. It has not been easy. One of her more dramatic experiences occurred in Rwanda, where she was caring for children in one of her orphanages when the genocide began. Although she was ultimately forced to leave, she made careful provisions for the children's care before she left. For 5 months, she could not make contact with them. When she finally returned, she learned what had happened.
When he went and visited that orphanage, he said it was like as if angels were guiding that place. No, not a single person had lost their life. All the children were exactly like we left them. They were doing their work. They were cooking, they were doing the laundry, they were collecting the eggs. They were going through the routines as if somebody was guiding them, and they were alone.
When asked how she can lead such an enormous ministry for 26,000 children in 24 countries, she had this wise response.
When God orders you to do something, there's nothing that can stand in that way, isn't it? And it's God's will. So I don't feel that anybody stood in my way to stop me from doing what I want to do. Of course, I'm a very determined person.